Hi, oh my gosh, it's been a hot minute, but oh boy, do I got some tea for you today. And I'm gonna spill it. I just am so beyond ready to talk to you about this shakeup at BODi and, how people get involved, what my experience was, and, what the future looks like for affiliate marketing. And the most important part of this whole entire podcast is how you can stay a part of a real community. And let's just dive right in because we got a lot to cover. Get your teacups because I'm pouring a fresh pot.
BODi messed up.
They messed up big time. If you did not hear the news or you do not know what BODi is, BODi, also known as Beachbody, is an online platform for fitness, nutrition, marketed as the Netflix of workouts and nutrition. But if you're new here, welcome. My name's Nikki and my husband Matt is here. I am a licensed nutritionist. I am a certified personal trainer and a licensed and certified health and wellness coach. I got involved with Beachbody and I advanced my business all the way up to the rank of diamond, which not very many people in the business even hit this rank. It's very rare.
Less than 1% of the company, I think.
Yeah. And at the time, when I was, really in the thick of it, they had 400,000 coaches and less than 1% hit that. I mean, I'm not great at math, but you are. You can math that real quick.
4,000, just off the top of the head.
Yeah. So
nice.
Less than 4,000 people hit that rank. March, April, May, June, July. So I did that in 5 months. I hit diamond in 5 months, and it took people, years to hit that rank. And I also feel like that's why I think maybe some people didn't like me all that much because I came in really early on and just started throwing elbows. But
you don't say.
I want to talk to you about how I got involved with Beachbody. You can go back a few episodes to hear my entire story on how I got to pretty much where we're going to pick up today. I really got involved with Beachbody because back in the fall of 2021, Matt, had deployed and I started doing 75 hard and really just wanted to find a way to start a business and monetize the things that I was already doing. I was working out, I was eating right. I really just lacked one really big important piece, and that was a community. And I took this huge break from social media and really just wanted to get back involved by showing up and sharing this journey from this really dark place that I was working my way out of. And I wanted to just share that with other people. But, since Matt was gone, I just was alone and I really just needed that sense of community. And so I had found some people online and started following their journey and what they were doing. And they were constantly marketing on their stories this opportunity to start a business and be a part of this community. And it was fitness and nutrition and, gal pals and empowerment of women and supporting of women. And it just was this holy grail of all of the things that I was truly looking for at that time in my life. We're coming out of a pandemic. My husband's been deployed for, 4 months at that point. And I just kept coming back to, this is a way for me to monetize the things that I'm doing and get that community. So I was unsure, but I was interested. So I remember filling out the person's form and wanting to get more info, and they would host these coach info sessions is what they would call them. And they would kind of go over what the business opportunity was. And so I chickened out at the last minute because I didn't want to get on a live Zoom call with these people. Just in hindsight, I really don't know why. Maybe because I was unsure or I didn't know what to expect. So I just was like, no, I'm good, dude. But I did ask for a recording of the coach info session call that they would host. And that's when I learned very briefly what the opportunity was. I learned that this was an opportunity through a company called Beachbody. I had heard of Beachbody, but I didn't really know what Beachbody was. And I learned at that point that it was an MLM, which is a multi-level marketing company. But what is an MLM? Do you know what it is?
I didn't at the time, but after doing a little bit of research and having our experience, we quickly learned. And so the idea behind an MLM essentially is someone signs you up or asks you to join their team, and they make a commission off of you. And then you turn around and sign someone up or invite them to your team. So not only am I making money off of the person that I'm signing, the person above me is making money off of me signing the people below me. And so the pyramid goes on down, and pyramid scheme gets thrown around a lot. It's not a pyramid scheme. It is multi-level marketing, but the idea and the shape of the pyramid become to form, and you can understand how these teams are built out below people and the people above benefit.
Yeah, and I remember having so many questions after rewatching that video. But I heard things on the call like, hearing one of the ladies say, oh, I was able to match my corporate income. Or, I was able to spend more time at home with my kids. And, just really hitting on all the sweet spots that women typically feel when they're looking for an opportunity to contribute to their family's bottom line while also making an impact in their own family, and it was very easy to understand in hindsight why MLMs are typically geared towards preying on women and moms especially. I have so many mom friends, and the biggest thing that we always end up talking about is finding yourself. And as a mom, a lot of women feel like they lose themselves in motherhood and they lose that identity, and in walks this business opportunity to allow you to not only work on yourself and find yourself, but now you get to create an impact in your family and really start to help be more present with your family while building this business. And here's the big part too, is being part of that community. The community, I think, is the biggest selling point, because if you are an adult female listening to this, you know, as well as I know, how hard it is to find true, genuine friendships. And I can honestly say that the majority of people that I've encountered in the Beachbody network all joined because they were sold on that community. Waking up early in the morning and hopping on the virtual Zoom so we can all work out together. Sharing meal plans and recipes so we can all eat the same thing and take care of ourselves together. And like, what personal development book are you reading? I need recommendations. And oh, let's hop on a team call on Monday nights every week at 8 p.m., while you're missing bath time or bedtime or dinner with your kids, because we're gonna plan how we're gonna build this business together and do trainings and share success stories of what's working in my business or your business so we can all do this together. And it's really pitched and thrown on so thick, this sense of community and support.
We met so many amazing people in the community who were all looking for friends, especially like it was post-COVID and a lot of people were trying to come back together and a lot of us were still online. It was a great opportunity to like meet people on Zoom calls or phone calls. And you have some like best friends that you've made over the past couple of years from doing this.
Oh yeah, I've met some gems of human beings. And I have also met some pieces of dirt. That I have met some of the best people that will be my friends for a lifetime. But when it came to your upline, there wasn't that sense of, camaraderie and community and friendship in a genuine sense. And I caught on very early to that. And, like I said, that was what I was looking for, was that community. We loved what we did in that business because Matt and I really truly have a heart to serve others. It's just who we are as people. You know, my background before getting involved in fitness and this industry was cosmetology, being a hairstylist, literally physically touching people to change how they feel about themselves. And that is just such a powerful thing to be able to do, is to help someone feel good about themselves and, you know, translate that into fitness and personal development and nutrition. Like, those are things that completely altered the trajectory of my own life with where I was a few years ago. And we helped a lot of people, but we did that in a way that I would say went against the grain, because the mental toll when I first came into this business that I could see happening amongst the women that I was meeting was extreme. You know, I'm having these conversations and how people are putting in all this time and effort and they're barely making any money. I had more conversations of, you know, other people on other teams barely making any money than I did hearing people having success in their business. And that's one of the biggest common things that people have a sour taste in their mouth when it comes to MLMs, is I'm putting in all of this time and all of this effort and I'm not making what I'm putting into the business.
There's literally class action lawsuits that are currently happening because of that reason. The amount of time that people are putting into their own individual quote unquote businesses that are not benefiting the amount of time they're putting in, and people are tired of it. They're suing and they're moving on.
Right. And, you know, aside from not making any money, one of the biggest things that I would hear is that this business was all about longevity. And the longer you stay in, the more success you're going to have. And when you first come in, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And me being me, I research and I love to study things. So I came in and I hit the ground running with trying to understand the reality of the business. I've managed salons in the past. I have that, you know, being a hairstylist, you literally run your own business when it comes to marketing. How many clients do I need to see this week in order to pay my bills? You know, that's something I had experience with coming into the business. You know, running a salon, you are managing yourself, you're managing other people, but you're also managing your clients. So this was just another version of doing that. And so I realized really early on how the business side worked, especially when it came to the relationships that you thought you had with the upline. And when I say upline, I mean the person who signed you up and the person who signed them up, and so on down the chain. And I learned very early on that my success in my business solely depended on the success of the people that I brought into my business. So how does that translate to, you know, that false sense of a relationship? I have to play nice. Well, let me clarify that. I didn't play nice anything. What that actually meant was that the person that signed me up really just played nice with me so that I wouldn't recognize the reality of what was going on in the business, so that I would stay. Because if I left, well, then their business isn't being successful. Now, imagine if I have 50 people in my downline and I'm playing fake nice with everybody, but the second that somebody leaves my downline, I get bitter and I block them on social media and I treat that person like a stranger, and that they somehow, you know, did some personal offense to me, because that's exactly what would happen. Not with me, but like that's what would happen with other people. That's exactly what was happening amongst the community that I was brought into. And I recognized this immediately when like coming into the business, and I would have these conversations with Matt about what I was seeing, the conversations that I was having with other people on other teams. And, you know, I would hear things like, I can't even get in touch with my coach. They won't They won't have a one-on-one call with me because I'm not a specific rank in the business, but I can't get to that rank because I need help and I don't feel like I'm getting that quote business mentorship that I was promised coming into this business.
At this point, you're really just a number to your coach or your partner because they know that you're guaranteed to give them a certain amount of money every month, and it doesn't really matter to them if they're helping you anymore. And that is the downfall of a lot of the MLM deception that we saw, is as long as the money keeps coming in for that coach or partner, the person doesn't really matter anymore. And that bill of goods that you got sold about the community and the personal friendships and things like that, a lot of that goes away.
Well, it was that, but it was also, if you were having success in your business, then you were treated a little bit better because now your upline was gaining something from you. I now have something to gain, so it's almost a sense of I'm using you because you're helping my business be successful. But the second that you are no longer producing, you're not worthy of that friendship anymore. And that's where I can't get in touch with my coach. I'm not getting answers. I'm just constantly being told I need to do more. I need to show up more. I need to invite more. And that just absolutely leads to burnout. And the mental toll that takes on you is like, why am I not good enough to have these conversations or be a part of that group? Or it was a lot.
The thing about burnout too, and the amount of work that you're putting in, is you don't realize that no one else around you is also not really making that much money, because everybody is putting on a front saying that they're earning their corporate income or that they were able to let their husbands retire, all the things you're not really supposed to say. And so you're wondering, is it just us? Like, we're putting in a lot of work. Like, every time I would get home from work, I would log in and talk to my people and try to recruit new people to the team and really help people and have conversations with people. But it just wasn't translating into that income that we were sold and the reason why we got involved in the business.
Oh, but insert Beachbody income disclaimer. Every time you do anything where you're referring to how much money you're making, that the results are not typical.
And what you don't realize is that everybody that's on the same level as you, and Nikki was a diamond coach, by the way, less than 1% of the company get to reach that rank, that they're also not making that much income. It's only really the top people that are, but they don't tell you that because everybody has to put on a front.
Right. And, not all people in MLMs are bad or deceiving. A lot of people are genuine and have really good intentions, but like any industry, there are some bad apples and there are some people who, I heard something once and it always sticks with me, is that all it takes is one bad actor to make it work. Mm-hmm. And there are some bad actors. There are some people that just truly just care about themselves. It's very selfish. It's very self-serving. And so many of my own peers felt that way. And I know I'm not alone in that. And if you're listening to this, I'm sure that you've been in a situation where you have felt that way, that you were just sold a complete lie, and it hurts. And if it's one thing I can't stand, it's a liar. I can't stand when people use lies to deceive people, especially when it comes to people who are trying to better themselves in any way, physically, mentally, you name it. Imagine how devastating it is to come into something thinking you're gonna have support, you're gonna have a mentor, you're gonna have community, that you're gonna build something great, and you come in with this huge belief. And you bet your ass I came into this business with a huge belief because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew who I was coming into this. I knew all of the things that I saw for my future. Beachbody was just a vehicle to help me get there monetarily. And I can honestly say that when I joined Beachbody, I started regressing. When it came to my physical results from the work that I had already been putting in on myself, I started gaining weight. I started losing muscle. These are all things that I noticed personally, but one thing that I felt, and a lot of my friends felt too, was I started losing that belief that I was building something great, because it very, very much was a sink or swim community. It wasn't an actual community. I started catching on to these things very early on in the business. And that's where, Matt and I would have conversations that I want to do things differently. I don't want to deceive people into this business. I don't want to tell them, like I was told, that there's no monthly minimum cost to have a business. Well, that's just not true, because there's a lot of things on the back end that in order to be making money that are required of me when it comes to purchasing products. And that's where you start losing money. So now I'm buying stuff, but I'm not making any money. And you keep telling me, my upline, to just do more work, but I'm already showing up 60 hours a week. I'm working more than a full-time job, and I'm not making that corporate income that some have claimed that they are. It just became this big web of what the fuck.
Anyone who signed up underneath us, if you're listening, they know that they got the genuine version of us, and that the people that we helped along the way really got the help that they needed, whether it was pointing them in the right direction for their fitness, helping them out with nutrition, meeting goals so that they could literally go serve in the military. The people that signed up underneath us are probably hearing this not knowing that this stuff happened in the background, but it's the truth of what happened. And the good partners and good coaches kept that to themselves because they were looking out for their people. That's also the reason why we stayed, is because we saw all these things and had these conversations, but we knew there were people counting on us, and we wanted to help them reach their goals. And so we put on a brave face and we made it work.
Yeah, and even got to the point where there were other teams that were part of the downline that I was on, where their coaches were coming to me because they didn't feel like they were getting what was promised to them under the person who sold them a lie. And Matt and I really wanted to cultivate a community that we signed on to have in the first place. And so many people left other teams to come over to our team.
We had so much integrity, we would turn people away. We were like, no, it's not right for you to leave your coach. Like, we don't want to be portrayed as people that are like sniping others' teams, to the point where we would turn away money and opportunities in order to have that integrity for other teams, the teamwork and community aspect of it.
Yeah, it oh man, especially when I think about the mental health part. Like, there were people that were so bought into the business when I first came in, and to watch their mental health decline, and then to watch them quit the business, and then watch them stop working out and taking care of themselves altogether, was very sad to watch. And I saw it happen time and time and time again. It got so discouraging that even some of the people that were really the biggest deceivers that, in this business, in this community that I was a part of, even they stopped showing up to work out. Even they stopped showing up to do the things that they were selling to other people to be a part of. And to me, from the moment I signed up to be a part of this business and this community, I committed to it. I would show up every single day. I was up early in the morning and I was doing these vital behaviors that were my job to do. It was my job to show up and do my workout and use my products and read the development books and do all of these things. And I remember looking back after we had just moved to Hawaii, I used to take pictures of our virtual gym in the morning, and it used to be the busiest thing. There used to be like up to 20, 30 people in there at 5 a.m.
That shit was popping.
It was, and it, one by one, just picked off people. And it got down to the point where it was me and somebody else. And that was the normal, where it was just me and one or two other people out of so many people showing up. What happened to all of those people? Well, they were sold a lie. And when they realized that it was a lie, they stopped showing up for themselves too.
The writing was on the wall.
It really was. And that's when I stayed active and a part of my own community, but I started distancing myself from the false community, the fabricated sense of women empowering women. And I actually started empowering people in my own corner because I didn't want to become another one of those people to get picked off. I didn't want to become another one of those people that just fell off from the mental toll that it was taking. And I was having a lot of mental hangups with the community. And I can't even begin to explain to you the conversations that I would have with Matt, where I would be infuriated at the things that I was being told about other coaches that were a part of this community and how they were treating the people who entrusted them and who invested in them and in themselves. Like, it was just so disheartening to me to see other people show up in such a way that was so fake that they got people to believe that they were a certain way. But once they clicked that link and they put in their credit card information and they hit checkout, that facade was no longer who that person was.
We can't be too specific, but the things that we saw included bribery, backstabbing, blatantly going against company policy in order to make sales, and the blocking of people once they no longer served you. And so these were the things that were unacceptable to us and that we told ourselves that we were no longer going to be a part of.
One of the things that really cut me deep, I started working towards building my own community. I stayed active within the Beachbody network because I had a team under me that had invested in me and in themselves, and I made a commitment to those people. But in the background, I started changing what my path was because I realized that I was no longer in alignment with what was being sold to people on the team that I was a part of. My upline was really no help to me whatsoever. I always felt that the more success that I would find in my own business, the farther away I would get from my upline and this cliquey group of people that were a part of the team. And I started working towards having my own stuff. So getting my education to be a nutritionist and a health and wellness coach and a personal trainer, because helping people at the end of the day was what I showed up to do. Not to deceive them, not to use scare tactics and dishonesty to bring people in to invest in something that's just not who I am. Like, I cannot stand liars, so I'm not going to become one so that the person who's above me can benefit from these people that I'm bringing in. It didn't align with me as a person, my values and my morals. Anytime I would, launch something, here I am a part of this community that supports each other and it's women empowering women. But when I would do something, it was crickets. There was no support. There was no congratulations. And the same with anybody else who would do anything on their own. There was no, wow, that's amazing. It was just not there. And if it was there, it was behind closed doors and it was never made public. And don't even get me started on the lack of recognition, because that was another thing that was constantly being sold to us behind in these team calls is, recognizing each other and sharing accomplishments, unless it outshines the people who have been doing this longer than you. Well, we'll just keep that hush hush, because then the rest of the team is going to know that these leaders aren't actually leading because they're not doing anything in their own business, because people are dropping like flies, because they're catching on to the lies. That rhymed. That rhymed. I didn't. But at some point, when those quote, top leaders stopped being top leaders, well, we stopped getting that recognition because it would be apparent to the remainder of the downline that these leaders don't actually have a place to be telling other people how to run their, quote, business.
You talking about people maybe going on retreats that they didn't earn per se?
Yeah, there was an instance where someone was present on a retreat who didn't in fact they didn't meet the metrics that qualified them to be on the retreat, but because they were friends, this was all about a specific group of friends living and perceiving this facade of success. And I really do believe in my heart that there was a group of people who were in on some scheme, and once the deceitful tactics started being very obvious to people,
it was over.
It was over. And just to kind of give you a really quick breakdown of what that looked like, we had a training call once where we were being pushed to advance our business rank to hit diamond. And they did that by breaking down how you get to diamond and why you want to get to diamond. Well, what was not understood by the quote leaders of this team who were giving this training was they were explaining to the downline why it was so detrimental to their own businesses for these individuals to advance their rank, because it was a self-serving endeavor. I need you to hit diamond so that I actually hit a higher rank myself. And when so many people learned that part of the business, because the way that these MLMs were set up, or this one specifically, is that the rank placements and advancements and the compensation plan were so fucking confusing for a reason.
Yeah, on purpose.
And when you actually take the time to spell it out like you're in elementary school and people understand why there's always this constant push for me to advance my business, well, yeah, it does benefit me by $2, but it benefits my upline by hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Speaking of elementary school, do you remember when they explained the compensation plan with literal puppets in a video? This is a corporate
the action figures.
This is corporate explaining the compensation plan with puppets like we're in elementary school. And I'm like, I'm an adult.
Talk about condescending.
If you can't explain how people get paid under your policy like an adult, then something's fishy here. Like if you're having to break it down with puppets, like get out of here, dude.
I mean, we saw a lot of dirty shit. I personally, having gone on these retreats, heard a lot of nasty things said, and it really just further solidified to me how fake this community was, or this, and unless you were part of that certain group, there wasn't true, honest support. There wasn't true, honest empowerment. It was, I need to make you feel special so that you don't leave and I don't lose out on advancing my own business. And that sucked. And, quite personally, I really truly felt strung along and I was talking to Matt about this earlier, how I don't understand why I was strung along for so long, because the people that were stringing me along didn't benefit from my business whatsoever. And that to this day still baffles my mind. And, when we moved, it really, really became clear to me that there was no community, and the people that I spent the last few years thinking were my friends were not my friends. And that was really hard for me to come to terms with. And I'm sure that every person who has been a part of the Beachbody network and has left can relate to that, where you have been a part of something for years and building something, whether it was false or not, you still had a belief that you were doing something for your future, and then you leave and you realize, okay, I actually wasn't doing anything. But aside from that, these people that I thought were my best friends block me. and they don't want anything to do with me anymore. Talk about a shitty character flaw.
If this resonates with you and you're listening and you know this same story that we're telling, you deserve to understand that there is a community for you, that you're not alone in all of these things, and the things that we are saying, you know in your heart to be true.
And this is why I have been working so hard on building NikkiBunting.com, really pushing and expanding the Chronically Authentic community, because I want a landing place for all of us, because I'm including myself in this. It's happened to me too. I was just like you. I mean, most of you who listen know me personally, and you know exactly what, who, and when I'm referring to, because you were a part of it. And, you know, I'm working on a place for us to have that real authentic community, and it lives over on my website. You can go subscribe over there, and when things go live, my subscribers will know first. I want us to take care of ourselves, because nothing broke me more than watching people leave the network and completely give up on taking care of themselves. That hurt me so deeply. Like, I still to this day think of the faces of the disappointment that I saw come across people when they recognized that they were no longer a part of something. And that fucking hurts. And I think that we all need to take a second to acknowledge the weight of all of that. Mm-hmm. When I decided that I was no longer going to participate in this business, I blocked everybody. I took that power, because I knew how much joy it brought specific individuals to go block people, because I was a part of those conversations, and I heard with my own ears the laughter that came from pointing at somebody who was like, yeah, well, she really loves that block button.
That's evil.
That's diabolical. And I know that those people are going to listen to this, because I know that they know that they've done shitty things, and they also know that I'm not afraid to talk about it. And you know who you are. And I hope that hearing this makes you go look in a mirror and recognize that you need to work on that. And you need to do better, because that's what that business was about, was doing better. And y'all know, I come with receipts. I've got texts, I've got emails. I was there. So what does this mean for the future of Beachbody? So, because they dropped their MLM compensation plan, they literally took the rug out from underneath the feet of a lot of families. They stripped away that livelihood that they have spent 14 years, I think was the most I heard. They took that away over just all of a sudden in an email, and it completely, you know, one of the top leaders said it best, it completely was done without integrity. People didn't come to Beachbody because of Beachbody. They didn't start these programs because they were world-class and life-changing. They came because of the people who invited them. You're here listening to this now because you enjoy me, not the programs I showed up trying to sell to people on the internet. Y'all love the fact that I'm real and I share my heart, because that vulnerability is what connects everybody. And now that Beachbody is moving towards an affiliate marketing, they're going to lose a lot of business. And I actually had one of my customers reach out to me this morning and ask, why was I reassigned to somebody else? And I explained to her why she was reassigned. It's because I finally canceled my coach account, because I did not want to give the company another cent of my money. So she was reassigned to my upline. And when I explained to her what the company did, she said, oh, I'm going to cancel them because I don't like that at all. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the majority of people, when they find out what happened, is going to have the same response, because it's dirty and it's done without integrity. And the people of this company didn't come to the company because of the brand of the business. They came because of the people who were offering them to be a part of something bigger. And so
not only that, but what BODi is about to get involved with their new program.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter online right now. I am not one to get involved in hearsay. You guys know I like to deal with facts, and I don't know. I'm going to allege because I am unsure, but I'm going to tell you what I do know. There's a lot of talks about the new program that's coming out and the supplements that are part of it. And the description of this program that the company sent out in an email where it was describing the supplements involved with this new program that focuses on hormone health. Now, I actually need to turn my computer on because I want to read you the facts. I don't want to give you my opinion on it. I want to say this because I actually have the credentials to talk on this. Your hormones are not just specific to your mood, your appetite, your sex drive. Hormones are chemicals that your thyroid gland produces to regulate specific parts of your entire body. It does include your mood and your libido and your digestion and all of those things. It's a part of it. But when you start fucking with people's hormones, you can have some catastrophic, like really, really bad adverse reactions. I get an email from Beachbody that's talking to me about this new hormone program that's coming out. And like I said, in the description, it says that part of it is a monthly, and I quote, a monthly subscription to 2 proprietary supplements to help with stress, support healthy metabolism, burning fat, and reducing blood sugar spikes after eating. And there is an asterisk after that. Now, that sounded really familiar to me. And I want to read you what another brand that is a daily GLP-1 capsule that is the Lemmy brand that fights visceral fat. It promotes healthy weight management. It reduces appetite, snacking, and cravings while also claiming to support insulin function. That sounded really familiar to me too. That's a GLP-1 daily supplement, by the way.
That sounds like a shot a lot of people are getting as well.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what is a GLP-1? You might not know GLP-1, but maybe you've heard of Ozempic or Wegovy, also known as semaglutide or trizepatide. Those are all GLP-1s. It's a glucagon-like peptide. It is a hormone that regulates your blood sugar, your appetite, and your digestion. Science, gotta love science, has created these GLP-1 agonists to mimic what GLP-1 in the body does. And its on-label use is to help treat type 2 diabetes and obesity. That's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that science has given us something to help people get healthy. I think that's wonderful. I really, truly do. And I'm never going to knock or shame somebody for doing what they need to do to get healthy. But why are we using deceptive marketing? If that's what it comes out to be, because I know that the trainer putting this program out has gone on their social media to defend that that's not, no one's taking any shots. People that are in the program and part of the test group, I've never taken a shot. You're right. I believe you. I absolutely believe you're not injecting any type of a GLP-1. But are you ingesting it? Are you taking it in a capsule form? And if you are, why are we producing shame around that? There's nothing wrong with that. Food for thought. You can draw your own conclusions, but I'm curious to know your thoughts on it. If that is what that new supplement is, why do we need to hide that? Science has given trainers a new way to help people get healthy and in shape. that's worth celebrating, not hiding and being shameful.
I've also heard a lot of people hopping off of the BODi MLM and looking to get involved in other MLMs because it makes sense to take your team over someplace else where you can also profit off of them and or help people out in the process. And some of these places that they're moving people to are talking about a lot of scientific jargon like peptides. And Nikki just read to you what a GLP-1 is.
It's a peptide.
Peptide is what it is. And so if you're looking to get involved in something else where people are putting this jargon out to you and you don't 100% understand what it is, but you're willing to follow someone over, just understand what you're getting involved in and make the best decision for you if it's worth getting right back into an MLM that you're trying to get away from.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this company has done a really good job of helping people get healthy. But on the other side of that coin, it's helped a lot of people develop disordered habits, like disordered eating, unhealthy relationship with fitness. And I truly wholeheartedly believed in the company mission, which was and still is to help people lead healthy, fulfilling lives. I signed up for that. I still run with that in my own business that has nothing to do with Beachbody because that is my goal. You know why? Because that is what helped me get out of a terribly dark place mentally and physically. And so that's what I want to do. I want to help people be healthy in any way that I can. Now, I'm not going to go jump in bed with another multi-level marketing company to do so. But if that's what somebody else wants to do because that's what's best for them, well, if I learned anything from my therapy, it's this. That is none of my business. But do it with integrity and do it with honesty and be honest about it. Most people don't know when you say peptides what that means or what it entails, but I literally just explained to you what a GLP-1 is. It is a glucagon-like peptide. It's a peptide. It's a peptide. It's like some of these trainers today got on their stories and was talking about testosterone therapy.
Oh, here we go.
So, that's a whole nother conversation. But the point is that we're made to believe that we can't use science to help us get into a better place. I completely wholeheartedly disagree. There are families that have children because of science, and I think that that's amazing. So if you are someone who turns a nose up to these type of opportunities, I really want to ask you with my heart to have an open mind and educate yourself on the benefits, because not everything in life is a negative. And I know that this company has taught me to look at that in a shameful way. And one of the last business conferences that I went to with the company, the CEO sat on the stage and was shaming how these types of things are going to close our doors as a business. And I guess somewhere between then and now, they had the idea, well, if we can't beat them, we should join them. And that's totally fine. I think that that's totally fine. But just say that.
Be honest about it.
Be honest about it. Because I think that the one thing that has pissed off a lot of people about this company as a whole is the deceit and the lies and the misleading. Just have some integrity. Have some honest conversations and bring people in with reality, not a delusion. Because if you want to go forward with change, that's the biggest piece of change I think that any person involved with this company should have, is reality and not delusion. There is so much more to unpack here, and there will probably be a part 2 because I'm sure that this is gonna bring up more conversations and discussions to be had. I'm open to your experience and your feedback. Put them in the comments, DM me on Instagram, because I want to keep this conversation going, because even if you weren't a part of the network, you probably have an experience where you felt taken advantage of when you bought into something with your heart and a belief that you were going to make a huge impact. And maybe for a little bit you did, until you realized that you were sold a lie. And your experience is valid. people will respond to this. And, there are people that I have alluded to that some of you may know. They're going to have words to say. They're going to have opinions, and they're entitled to that. But one thing that was done here today is that it was truth. And it was honest. And it happened. We were all a part of it. If you were, and you were a part of this, and you know, we all know what we experienced. And your experience is valid no matter how much it pisses somebody else off, no matter what. You matter, and everything about you matters, and it's not on somebody else to make you feel less than, because you're not. And I know that I did when I hit that block button and I took my own power back. It felt really good, and it feels even better to get this off of my chest and talk about my experience, because it happened. And I'm not going to live in this world of toxic positivity where I'm elated with gratitude for what I got from this business. I got sold a lie, and I got mistreated, and I got lied to, but I also did get really good relationships out of it. And I also did grow deeper in my relationship with my husband. Those things are all true. Both things can be true. There's a positive and a negative.
I want to say before you sign off that I'm really proud of the work that you put in, the people that you helped along the way, and how you grew as a woman. And like you said, how our marriage grew. And to anybody listening who knows Nikki and has worked with Nikki in the past, you guys know where to go if you're looking for that sense of community, that information, that no nonsense support for women and for families. The future is bright for you, honey, and I'm just so proud of you.
Thanks, honey. And I didn't mention this earlier when Matt said, what's next, but I want to say this out loud because I want you to know I have workouts coming. They will be absolutely free to you. The community will be open. It's coming. I just need time to build it up brick by brick, because I want this to be a place that we all expected to be a part of then. We're going to be a part of it now. And you can be a part of it now. You just need to go subscribe on my website so that when it launches, you will be the first to know of how to join the community. And I can't wait. We have so many good things coming. And if you're discouraged from the news that came out on Monday, I promise you, you're going to find your way. This isn't the end. You're going to rewrite the story. You're the hero. I've been telling you guys that since day one. You're the hero of your story, not a victim. So don't victimize yourself with this. It's going to get better. So until we meet again, see you on the next episode. Don't forget to drop your comments down in the comment box. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the website, nikkibunting.com. Come follow me over on Instagram.
This will also be up on YouTube too. I'm going to put it up there for you.
Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. Matt and I have been going on some really fun adventures here in Hawaii, and we take you guys along every time we go anywhere. So make sure you come join our adventures over on YouTube. See y'all soon. Love you, mean it. Bye.